Howdy, welcome back. My last video sparked this video that I'm going to do now. And I just want to let you know I'm transitioning. Get your mind out of the gutter, let mine float by, not that kind of transitioning. But before I tell you about my transitioning, I'm going to tell you about something funny. This hotel that I stay at frequently with all my travels lately has liquid personal products up on the wall of the shower. So they have shower gel, shampoo, and conditioner. And it's fixed to the wall. I'm sure there's a tool that they use to replace them because they're not going to last forever. But one says shower gel, and underneath it is French gel. I don't know how to pronounce it in French, but douche, gel douche. And when I first came here the first time I saw that, I went like, that's awfully high up on the wall. Why are they having douche that high? I know it means shower. I don't know French, but I do know douche is shower or something like that. And if you are a Big Bang Theory aficionado like I was, you might remember one episode where Howard was telling a female character who was going to take a shower in his apartment, he said bon douche, which means good, have a nice shower. So anyhow, I just think that every time I get in that shower, I see that, and I just think like, really? And I'm in Arizona, we're not close to the French-Canadian border, Quebec. We're closer to the Mexican border, and there's no Spanish on these products. So anyhow, I just thought that was funny. I thought I'd share that with you. All right, transitioning. So I'm on a quest at my old age to get healthy, especially when I had a doctor come up to me at the end of a visit, look me right in the eye and say, if you don't lose weight, you're going to die. And that was his parting words before he left the exam room. It hit me pretty hard, kind of like a punch to the solar plexus, knocked the wind out of me. So with a lot of, I've tried different diets, different things to help get the weight off. Now, when I was in college, I was a gym rat, racquetball player, a runner, a jogger, did all these things, and for two different reasons. One is that I wanted to burn off the stress and get my mind away from the books in college, and also I wanted to prove to myself that after almost dying from asthma when I was a child, I spent a lot of time in the hospital. In fact, in kindergarten, I missed so many classes, or I should say days, that I failed kindergarten. And it wasn't because I couldn't, I wasn't able to cut the mustard. It was because I was sick so much. I spent a lot of time in an oxygen tent in the hospital, IVs in me, I couldn't breathe. They had to give me epinephrine back when I was a little kid. I always thought it was adrenaline, same thing. Because I turned blue, I couldn't breathe. And so I wanted to prove to myself that I could do all the things that I couldn't do as a child, as a young adult. So that's why I did that. And even being as lean as I was and strong and having endurance, I always had, love handles right over my belt. Not huge, but was a little softer around the middle. So after college, soon after college, like I think the next year after I graduated, I got married, not to the person I'm married to now, but she had a different lifestyle. I wanted to continue going to the gym because I really enjoyed it, and I liked the physical fitness, I liked the strength that I had, I liked the muscles that I had, things like that. But I'm one of those people that when you make a promise to somebody, you keep it, and that whole thing about for better or worse, I took the worst. She was very sedentary. She liked to eat a lot and liked to have a lot of desserts after eating, which was usually right after having dinner. And I did the same thing. I thought my place was to stay with her, and her place in the home after work was sitting in front of the TV on the couch and eating, and started gaining weight and started getting very soft and very out of shape. So anyhow, long story short, in my later years, I've had a few birthdays. I decided after that one doctor told me about pretty much, all your numbers are going up, going out of range. My cholesterol, I was pre-diabetic, then I became type 2 diabetic, things like that, and I kept gaining weight. I was one of those people that would eat a full meal, and soon after you would see me in the kitchen looking at the, opening the door to the fridge, opening the door to the pantry, looking for something else because I wasn't satisfied. I just kept eating and eating. If you look at my pantry now, it's pretty empty. There's no cookies, there's no chips, there's no candy, things like that. So getting back to this transition thing I'm talking about, well, I've been doing a lot of studying, and this is not from my doctor, but I feel very blessed that my insurance covers it. I'm very blessed that my doctor helped me get on it. And I'm not going to say the brand name because I think they're all about the same thing. But it's, he put me on shots for a GLP-1, which does two things. Its intention originally was for getting your diabetic numbers down. It also helps you lose weight. And I've lost, as from the previous video, if you've watched that before this one, I've lost over 70 pounds, which has been a blessing. I'm getting down to a weight I want to be at, unless, of course, I become a gym rat again and start bulking up. And at my age, bulking is not perceptible. Anywho, so, I'm not a saint. I still sin on my diet. I still like my wine. I still have bread. I have sandwiches sometimes. I'll have a hamburger or whatever. But my transition is that with the GLP-1s, let me back up a little bit. With the GLP-1s, there are side effects if you're thinking about doing it. Now, everybody's different. Now, I started out with the very lowest dose. And I remember I took my first shot on a Friday, and I did that intentionally because I thought, well, if I have side effects, I have 2 days at home where I don't have to do anything to go through this process without impacting work or other things that you do during the regular week. And so Saturday and Sunday, I was pretty much horizontal in bed. I mean, it really kicked my butt. And the side effects are, number one, being lethargic, not feeling well, gastrointestinal wise. I never threw up, but I felt very nauseous. Also felt like I was going to have diarrhea, which I think I did have initially. But as time goes on and you start developing a tolerance for the medication, it gets better and better. And then, like myself, I think I went up 2 steps. The first step I went on for a few months, and then the third step, which I think is what I'm on now, I don't know, the third or fourth. They increase the dosage, and every time they do that, you go through the same process, but not, for me, not as strong. So like when I went up to the next level shot, I didn't spend the weekend in bed. I just felt kind of crappy. I'm pretty much at a plateau now with that medication, and I don't feel the side effects anymore, but I do find the benefits. My numbers for sugars have gone down to the lower end of normal. My doctor has taken me off one medication for diabetes, metformin. For my blood pressure, since my blood pressure is stabilized, I'm still on a medication, but he's taken me off hydrochlorothiazide, HCTZ, which is a water pill, basically. Took me off that. My blood pressure is stabilized. Anyhow, last time I saw him, I said, next year, after the holidays, because last year when I've been on this stuff for over a year now, and it's November now, I don't have the impulse to have sweets, okay? So at work or whatever, when someone brings in some snacks, I pass it up, okay? I don't eat carbs much, sugar treats, like usually for the past several years, I have gone to places like Starbucks and had pumpkin spice lattes. This year I have not had one. Last year I think I had one Starbucks tall. It's the smallest serving that I know that they give you. I don't know how many ounces that is. I mean, trust me, if I had it, I'd probably enjoy it, but I don't have a craving for the sweet anymore. Or carbs. I don't stand in front of the refrigerator or the pantry and go, what else can I have to eat? I don't do that anymore. Now, getting back to the transitioning, I'm really trying hard because I told my doctor, I said after the holiday, I want to start tapering off the GLP-1. And I want to get to where I can maintain my health, my weight, percentage of body fat, and also maybe get off some more medications with diet, exercise, and lifestyle. So that's where I'm at right now. So what I've been doing is I've been learning about the keto diet. So you go into ketosis where your liver, I believe the process is your liver takes fat in your system, whether it's body fat or whether it's fat in your blood, and converts it to energy, which is our ketones. And I understand for the most part your brain runs off ketones, not sugar. And so you start absorbing and burning off the fat on your body. So I've been doing that. And also I've been working on, my next step is working on carnivore. And there's a couple doctors I follow on YouTube that help with that. So what I've been doing, number one, is cutting out the carbs, sugars, things like that. Because if you think about our ancestors, they didn't have a lot of sugar. I mean, refined sugar especially. And if you watch a program like The Chosen, which is based on the life of Jesus, they had bread back then, in first century Israel. But that wasn't their primary thing. If you think about it, if you were trying to live off the land today, depending where you live, what is it you have available most of the year? It's animals. We have growing seasons. So you may have, if you went by Mother Nature, how the seasons work, you may have fruits at certain time of the year. You may have grains, certain times of the year, vegetables certain time of the year. But in the dead of winter, unless you do canning or whatever, what are you going to eat? First century Israel, or first century people didn't have canning, and they had some ways of preserving foods, but not like they had no refrigeration or anything like today. It was primarily animal meat. Okay, so carnivore is meats, beef, pork, fish, things that come from animals like butter. You get also, what else? Butter, bacon, things like that. And what they're finding out is people that live like that, if they have primarily carnivore, which is completely opposite of what they've been telling us in the quote medical community since I was probably in junior high school, the 70s, when they first started coming out with margarine, which is primarily stuff that's been made from petroleum. Did our ancestors eat oil from the ground? No. So I'm slowly transitioning over to that. And so the other thing I've been doing is also watching different supplements, and I try really hard not to get supplements that are made from petroleum, because even though they say it's a vitamin whatever, it's from petroleum and it's not a natural source, meaning from meat or vegetable. So the reason why I've been doing that is also to help with my health. But the thing I learned years ago, and I forgot all about it, and now they really talk about it if you're in these communities, is that our soils are deficient because of how we farm, whether it's ranchers raising livestock or whatever. And if you see how they do things like where the chickens are and get the eggs, or the chickens for food, or the cattle, it'll make you cry. It really will, because these animals don't have normal lives. So to get healthier, you want animals that eat what they were meant to eat before either they create eggs or milk to make butter or to slaughter for their meat, whatever. They're not getting the nutrition that they ordinarily get, which means if they don't get nutrition, if eating their products, we're not getting nutrition. Same thing with vegetables. Back in the old days, farmers would rotate crops and have, 1 year just have animals on the land. So what's coming out of the land, just think of it. When I was a kid, they had things that were made out of styrofoam, and it was to help you learn how seeds germinate and ant farms, things like that. So it used to be in a very thin layer of plastic, and in between they would have the styrofoam pellets. So if you put a bean in there, dried bean, you can see it germinate and the root would go down and then the top would come up. Or you could watch the ants, how they function in that environment. But there's no nutrition there, okay? When a seed starts to grow, it gets wet, starts to germinate and puts the root down, it's getting its nutrition from the seed, not from the ground. That happens later. And so what we're finding out is, like, unless you live on the coast, we're not getting iodine. We're not getting a lot of minerals, okay? We're getting something that looks like it. Now we have GMOs, so what they're doing is engineering plants and animals to produce more of whatever we eat, but the nutrition has gone down. So I've been studying that, taking naturally occurring supplements, things that I've read that you're not getting from your food anymore because our soils are fairly sterile. And with all the insecticides and everything else, part of how the soils produce things that are needed by the plant is bacteria and other things that grow in the soil. But if it's sterile, nothing is growing there, it doesn't do its job. So it's from the ground on up, we're deficient in nutrients. So I'm doing that, and eventually I want to get to the point where I'm just eating things like grass-fed and grass-finished beef. Eating, if I do eat plants, eat them that come closer to the coast, like on the east or west coast in America, where there is a sea breeze that comes in that brings in iodine. You go in the middle of the country, there is no iodine in the soil. So trying to get healthy that way. So what I want to do, and some other things I take because of other health issues, and I won't get into this video, maybe some other video down the line, is consume the things that biologically I'm supposed to be getting, or if you want to get biblical, that God put on this earth for us to survive and to be well, to thrive. So after the first year, I'm going to get tested on everything. I'm going to let my doctor know I want to start tapering off the GLP-1s and start going by lifestyle, exercise, and nutrition, eating, and see if I can get off all this stuff. I know at my count of birthdays that there'll be some medication I'll still have to take just by the nature of the damage I've done to myself, one by age and the crap I've eaten over the years. But anyhow, that's my transitioning. So I'll let you know how it goes. I feel really good. Like I said on the previous video when I mentioned I've lost over 70 pounds. The clothes fit better. Like this shirt that I have on is a bit too big for me because I've lost so much weight. Other side effects, especially those of you that are like me, that have had a few extra birthdays. One of the first things I noticed when I started losing weight, and it came off pretty quickly initially when I was using the GLP-1s, I got the turkey waddle here. I think it's starting to firm up a little bit. I got wrinkles in my face. One advantage you have when you have some extra adipose tissue is that, kind of blows that old balloon out so you don't have the wrinkles. But you know what? If it doesn't go away on its own, starts tightening up, I'm welcoming it. I know how old I am. I'm no longer 20, so I'm going to look a little on the old side. But I just want to let you know what I'm going through. I'll let you know more. I'll probably do another video after the first of the year. Like I think I said, it's November, the first part of November right now. But if I can encourage anybody to choose health, wealth, security, all the things I talk about in my other videos, that's what I want to do these for. I want to share them. And these are not things I read in a textbook. These are things I've read and I'm implementing. Cheers. But if we can find ways that we were designed to do to stay healthy, I think a lot of our disease processes, like type 2 diabetes, the only other person in my family that I know that has diabetes, it's type 2, and he is quite obese, and I was on the obese side before I started this. A lot of things we do to ourselves, whether it's wittingly by choice or unwittingly by eating processed foods, things like that. So I encourage you to watch some of the other doctors. I'm not a doctor, but doctors on YouTube that are into these things, and maybe you can learn something that you can implement as well. I'm not saying go strict carnivore. That's not for you. That's what I'm trying to do to get healthy. If you can get off the processed foods, get off the sugars, there's things I used to eat all the time, but I thought, oh, it's got protein in it, like peanut butter. I love peanut butter, but I don't consume it anymore because, number one, there's a lot of oil in it that's not that's processed. There's videos you can watch, you can find them out there about how foods are not only engineered but processed with different chemicals. I mean, we're consuming crap. We really are. So anyhow, I just want to let you know where I am, what I'm learning, and what's effect to me. My goal is to keep the weight off. Maybe I'll gain some more weight if I spend more time in the gym. I'm not going to say what my weight is right now. For those of you, I got some bruises there. For those of you that know me, I got chicken bones. So, me being at a healthy weight is probably a lot less than the average guy my age because I don't have big bones. And I think that's probably from being sick so much as a kid. I pretty much stopped growing in junior high school. I used to be one of the tallest boys in school. And ninth grade, I realized I don't need to buy new shoes because my feet are growing. And so other people in my age group, the guys, were getting bigger and bigger, and I just stopped. So my goal weight is a lot lighter than most guys my age. But start researching it. And it doesn't take a lot of time. You can watch videos or read books or whatever. But get away from the processed foods. Like, I'm not going to say any names because I don't want to get sued. But there's weight loss programs to where they make the food for you. And if you look at the ingredients, it's probably less calories. It isn't any healthier than other things you can get in the supermarket that's processed that you throw in the microwave. And it does take time. You're not going to take your GLP-1 if you're taking shots overnight and suddenly, realize you've lost 20 pounds and you're fine and go off the shots. I don't know what it's going to be like when I go off the shots. I've read a lot of different things about it. And some of the different brands of shots, they're now come out with pill form, which might be easier for you to take. I looked up the one I'm taking right now, and they're still in shot form. And the shots really don't hurt. I've been hurt a couple times because it does go into your skin. It's a shot. What else? Oh, and I tend to hold my weight in my neck. I used to have man boobs, primarily in my middle. I was one of those people that carried it in a way that is probably the least healthy. But when I was taking shots, you do it around your navel, a couple inches away from your navel, and you change positions so that you don't overdose a particular area of your tissue, also on your legs. But I noticed probably, was it up to this third level? I noticed I lost so much fat in my legs that it was very painful to take shots because I had skin and muscle, no fat. So I just do it in my belly. And I'm starting to notice that's getting a little irritating because I don't have a lot of fat there anymore. What else? Oh, I should have said this at the beginning. One of the other side effects when you do GLP-1, some of my weight loss isn't just from fat, but you also lose muscle. I looked in the mirror the other day and my chicken legs were like, really like chicken legs, like bird legs. And that's just part of it. And that's one of the reasons I want to get off it. I want to start building up healthy muscle and healthy tissues. All right, that's all I can think of for now. Hope you got something out of this video. I wish you all the happiness. What was it? Happiness, health, wealth. I can't remember what my old mantra was. But be the best you can. And let's get away from the processed foods, get away from all the pills that we pop that they give us, because the bottom line is, people, industry means that they're making money, and there's no profit in cures. So we have to take a lot of responsibility for ourselves. It's like a t-shirt I want to get. It says, no one's coming to save you. We have to take responsibility for our safety, our health and wealth and everything else, because no one else is going to come out and give it to you. You got to work on it yourself. So God bless, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.